Hi guys, so this is the October um um sad setup. So let me explain. So basically, I'll start over here. So light hasn't changed. What's that thing hasn't changed? The echo hasn't changed. This Blu-ray has changed because I was using a different one. Guys, so interrupting. So I removed the bookshelf that was here and move this over. And I had a bookshelf that was here, put all the DVDs here, and I moved the table that was in here, right over here. So when you saw the before with the DVD on the shelf thing there, it's moved, and I have this right here, and I arranged this where lots of stuff is easier accessible. So basically, this is stuff I use occasionally. So for iPad, phone, just have it there. Gimbal for handheld stuff. So I should have been using it for this whole video, but getting back to it. Bye. I put the TV back over here. So this TV is hooked up to a HDMI switch, and that HDMI switch is going to there, and one is hooked up to a HDMI splitter. So the Blu-ray is hooked up to a splitter, and that's hooked up to the switch, which is hooked up to the ATEM. And so there's that. I moved the drawing tablet from over here to here because it's a lot easier to have access here. This is cable management has gotten a little bit better, but basically, instead of having the TV in the middle surface, I have it right at the top, and I have the monitor that was over here, where the drawing tablet's at, right in the middle where the TV was at. And I have more room for my keyboard and mouse, and the Stream Deck Plus has some stuff on there. I'll tell you about that. So, first button is turn on this turn on the TV, turn on the ATEM, turn on this monitor, and then turn on these cameras. They're hooked up to USBs. So this is a newer version of, these are newer cameras. I got rid of the face cam because of this is just a little bit better, and I can put them onto the ATEM. Number one on the ATEM is that one. Number two of the ATEM is that one. Number three is my Mac. Number four is the HDMI switch that's there that has a computer that has a computer that does the hand cam. So when I do hand cam in OBS, it would basically turn on Droid Cam OBS on that computer, and I can capture the audio through that into the ATEM into OBS. Number four is my switch, and number five is the Blu-ray drive that is hooked to this HDMI switch right here that goes over here. So when I watch a DVD on here, it appears on here, and audio that comes through all these HDMI cables goes out to the HDMI port, which goes to this TV, which then goes to a fiber box that's right there. Did an unboxing of that. That fiber box then goes into the interface, and the interface then spits it out to these earbuds, because I have a pair of earbuds just when I need to have earbuds, and headphones. These ones change occasionally. Right now I'm rocking the M30X's for lightness, and normally they get changed out. And then this monitor was a $89 special on Amazon, but it's right now it's $120. And so the M1 getting replaced with the M2 is in the shop because I had to it was basically dead. A Thunderbolt port died, so I had to get that replaced. I'm waiting for the M3 to replace the M2 with the M3. But I'm using my M1, which was acting as a server. Over here is my HDMI stuff, my USB stuff, which is hooked up to a secondary USB port. My ATEM is hooked up to the Thunderbolt port. So what's on there is this 2 cables going to this splitter that's under my desk right here that allows me to switch between here and a computer in the back room. But I'm thinking about taking that off since that computer can be accessed remotely now. And that basically gives me a little bit more usage. And then my actual stuff, I have a couple things plugged in here. One thing is this, one thing is that, one thing is that, and one thing is this, and then the USB switcher, which has 2 for my keyboard and mouse. And then for power on there, it powers my Ethernet hub and my Ethernet switch, which is under the desk on the IKEA Signum. And then this key light is controlled on here with the Stream Deck. This little thing, these were cheap. So this one is hooked to the Mac. So what displays on this screen is mirrored on this screen, and this is on input 2. So OBS runs on here, so I can basically monitor OBS. Excuse the dust. But basically, this is monitored. This is for monitoring OBS. And this, when I draw on here, it appears on here, which means it gets recorded into OBS through the ATEM. And then the other one, which is Strips HDCP, which allows me to, when I plug this into the port 4 on the ATEM, that goes to the switch, so I can run HDCP content. It strips HDCP from this device. So anything that uses HDCP, like Blu-ray, basically gets removed and it can be recorded onto the ATEM. And so what goes from there is switch splits onto here, which goes to this TV. So when I have a Blu-ray on here, it gets recorded. These are my monitoring speakers I use for listening to music, and also I'm using for control of my for like mixing and stuff, because I actually have a little switch that's under the desk. I'm not going to show you because it will involve getting on the floor, but I press that button and it can switch the phases of the speakers to like a different version. So because it has electronic DDPS, so I can just change the signal for each of these monitors. Are going to, so one for music and one for mixing and mastering, and then that's for that. And then this is something that I have, which is my 18i8, which I use a lot of stuff on, and the only reason I have it because I can control it from Focusrite control, so I don't have to mess with these knobs, or if I need to, I can, because it's on reach. This is an Apple TV that I have hooked up to here also, so whatever shows on here can be shown on there. And this can actually be used as a third monitor if I wanted to, because the reason I have the Apple TV on there is for AirPlay. So when I need to do stuff involving AirPlay, like Apple TV, and like iPad / iPhone / iPod Touch, can get streamed to like there, which will appear on the ATEM. Then I have a HDMI cable that's right there that I can use to hook up a HDMI device. And if I need to record bio stuff, I can just plug that in and play, for example, a specific laptop or little tiny computer. I have a little, what's that thing called? A little power cable coming in the mail that basically is going to stick right here and it hangs out the side. So if I need to plug anything into power, I can plug right here, plug in Ethernet, and plug in HDMI, and I have an Ethernet cable coming that will go from the Ethernet switch that's over here, around here, to over here, and I'm gonna have like a little Ethernet outlet so that I can plug in Ethernet and also power and also HDMI, so I can just use an extension. So something like a coupler I would be actually putting here, so I can basically plug in and then get that stuff working. This controller is a Go Kit King Kong controller. I got a new one because I gave my old one to my brother, and because he needed another controller. This cable's for charging this, and my controller, and this is a MIDI controller I have just for mastering and also production. That's it for most of the hardware stuff. The switch is over there, easy accessible because I can actually take it out of there and remove it. I was thinking about if for like Switch games, I was thinking about getting a little I was thinking about buying all of the actual Pokemon games because you can't get really any Pokemon games on Steam without using emulation. So I was just gonna get all the ones that could be gotten on the Switch, and then get a little tiny something that can play Game Boy Advance games on TV with scaling, and then hook that to the ATEM, and same for GameCube, Wii, and so stuff that doesn't have to like be actually taken, and then just get a portable Switch just for all the other Switch games I have, and the ones that can't be gotten on Steam, I can just get on a Switch Lite and play them on a Switch Lite. These PDUs are pretty much there just for actually power. I have these spots up here, which is just in case I need to plug in something, like because I was thinking about getting some kind of extension. I was gonna run the extension over here from here, so when I need to use it, I can just flip a switch and it turns it on, and then turn it off when I'm not using it. And for the coupler, I was thinking about either just drilling it through actually the desk, probably, I'm not for sure. But that's stuff that's changed there. So, the drawing tablet is being so just to let you know, this drawing tablet is an independent display. So if I don't have this TV on, which is where the ATEM is going into, and this one, which is a monitor too, I can have this and this one on, just so for having reference on here, and then drawing on here if I just want to draw. But if I need to annotate and have the ATEM screen on the same exact time, I can annotate on here, and then it'll appear on here, and it'll appear in the ATEM. So, and I just have some stuff on there, and then this is just for monitoring OBS, and then this is just a keyboard I use. I find it comfortable. So going to the Stream Deck, which is I'll basically save that one for last because of this one's kind of more, people probably are more interested in this one. So for this one, I have a volume button that controls audio. So for example, this 18i8, you can't control volume audio up and down with like this and this. But if you use a software called Loopback, you can control the volume of the of what the input is as long as you do pass-through audio, as long as it's not doing a double echo, which mine isn't. You can do pass-through, and that pass-through would then allow you to control volume either with a knob, and if you have a Stream Deck Plus, you could use Wavelength if you want, but Wavelength is kind of buggy on macOS. But if you're using it on Windows, it shouldn't be an issue there, but on macOS it's kind of buggy, so I had to use loopback. So this is what this one does. It controls audio. This one, which is my Time Machine backup, it backs up Time Machine. This one, which is web list, it basically lists every web page I usually visit occasionally just to check and see if there's updates, and it opens them all up in Firefox. This one, which is QR code, this one makes a website into a QR code, because if I'm on the website on Safari, because I use Safari just for making QR codes, I can press this, it'll save as a QR code to the desktop. And then there is this one, which is fan. It turns on my fan that's behind me if the room gets too hot. But I was thinking about using a IR blaster just for that and attached to Home Assistant. And then this one, which is Write, which is allows me to do annotations. It activates annotations. And then this one, which is Random, it basically is a web page that loads random waifus and or characters, and it helps you find new anime you've possibly never heard of or manga. This one, same thing. Then there is the key light. The key light, which is, this one is hooked up to Companion, and Companion is then controlling the key light. So when I press this, it sends a message to Companion, and Companion turns it on and off by using steps. And then this one, which is Display On. Display On turns on, turns on this TV, the ATEM, this monitor, and then those two cameras. The ones right here. And then it also turns on the server smart plug, which is a smart plug that's in the back room that controls the thing that's down there, the IR switch. I mean the Ethernet extender. So you only have to have it on one side, because if you have it on this side, you get no actual lights, and it also turns it off. So, but if you put the smart plug on the other side, it turns off back there, but it also turns off the lights down here. So this room is pretty dark, because if you can see all the stuff on, it would be pretty bright if I just left it on. Because I don't use the top switches mainly because of it has an orange light, and I don't leave them on. So I put electrical tape on the ones I need to have on 24 for actually 7. So the lights aren't blinding in the middle of the night. So going back here, I have a shutdown button. That shutdown button is it shuts down Mac OS, and it basically closes Finder, it closes all the open applications, it ejects drives, and then it basically makes it so it shuts down. It sends a shutdown command through actually a sudo command. So the problem is with that sudo command, if you just run that sudo command and shut down the Mac and turn it back on later, it will have everything open that you had open last time. That's great if like you are using those every day, but I use basically stuff like different each time I turn on the computer, and that's only when I turn off the computer. So usually turn it off when I get ready to leave for a long period of time. So I just press the shutdown button and it shuts down. Next is the sound. The sound turns on the speakers, and then I can control it with the full Focusrite control. And then the next thing, which is my video archive, it basically has all my YouTube videos that I need to edit, which is a lot. because I made a lot, and I have to edit them, but it opens that folder, and then I can open them in my editing software and then just do that. Then wake and snooze, those are something interesting. So wake basically sends wake on LAN commands to my desktop in the back room, because of I replaced the thing that's on server, replaced the computer that's right there, that's on wake and snooze, because wake and snooze allows me to wake my gaming desktop so I can play games with Steam Link, or just do some kind of like export. And so I can control, and then if I need, and I was basically controlling it with that little HDMI thing on me, with the Ethernet thing that was right there with the orange cable. So that was being actually used on there, but I put a dummy plug on there, and that works. And then after that, if I'm done, so I wake it, and it basically can wake it using I can wake it using this, and then it goes to that I can use remote desktop protocol, log in, and then do my stuff, press snooze after I'm done like exporting video using CUDA stuff, which my GPU supports. And then if I need to play games, I can just use wake on LAN to wake it up with the remote desktop. Wake it up with Steam Link. So those two buttons are pretty much the same. I might just eliminate the snooze button, I'm not for sure. The button that is VirtualBox, it's not VirtualBox, it's basically parallels that's the desktop that I have for I have a virtual machine that starts on that basically starts on my Mac, and when it starts, it basically the virtual machine starts when parallel starts. And then when I shut down, when I press the actual stop, it shuts down the virtual machine, and then closes parallels. And then the sleep button just puts both stream decks to sleep. So this is my production stream deck, where if I need to do anything with OBS. So with this one, I have a little clock on there because I'm using Companion connected to OBS. And I'm also can control the OBS that's running on the hand cam, which basically uses my actual phone to connect to the computer that's in the back room. And that basically would actually wake, that would turn on the actual that will turn on the scene using web sockets, and then it would basically I turn on the actual camera on my phone, and I have a hand camera. These blank buttons aren't really buttons; they're basically websites, and I put the same gradient icons I made on here. And so just to fill in so it's just not black. And then this is just a stop and start button. So when I press start, it starts recording. When I press it stops, but OBS has to be open. The next one, which is start recording. It's program record and multi-view record. So with this one, with multi-view, it basically switches the ATEM to multi-view, and then it does a recording. So since the OBS is only recording the actual program itself, you're not getting the multi-view unless you open up OBS. Unless you go to the Mac screen on here and open up OBS. And plus you do the multi-view there. So Then there's the lower, which allows me to play the lower thirds because of that. And then the starting soon is just the start button I have where I would like to end up at if it hasn't started there. So I'm just gonna tell you, all these buttons right here are on one scene, which is ATEM, and that's about it. That's why there's only one lower button, because it's all on ATEM. So with this one, with hand camera, I'll start, which is my phone. It turns on the hand camera, and then after that, it turns on hand camera and stuff like that. And then after that, it goes to it switches scenes, and it goes to the hand cam scene, which means I can capture hand camera and it gets captured in OBS. Face camera, which I haven't tested out yet because of I just now finished setting it up, but it basically turns on that it basically switches to that camera. And then unboxed cam is basically just the camera right here. And then the Mac is the Mac screen that's piped in here and piped into input 3 on the ATEM. Then right is basically the same exact scene right here, but it activates F16, which I mean it's Command Shift F16, which would basically turn on annotations, allow me to write on this screen, and it appears on there, and it goes into the ATEM. And then switch basically switches to input 4 on the input 4 of the ATEM to switch 4 of the to switch 4 of the HDMI switch. But because if I had a ATEM Mini Extreme, I wouldn't need that, and that means I can basically just plug all that stuff into there. And so switch basically switches to the switch, and then there's cast. Cast will basically turn on the Google Chromecast with the Google TV right there, and it will switch to actually there. HDMI will switch to the HDMI port that's over here. And then this one, which is DVD player. DVD player will basically switch to like the DVD player scene, and then it would load on there. So going up here, there is unbox cam plus picture in picture. So what this one does, it turns on picture in picture, and then once it turns on picture in picture, it would turn on this camera right here. So the face camera, same with the because it will turn on the unboxing camera, and this one will turn on picture in picture in the corner, so it gets recorded. Same with the Mac, it does the same exact picture in picture, it just uses that camera. And then right basically does the same exact thing, but the difference between right and right picture in picture is that when you switch between, when you press right, it activates it, then it'll say right finish, then after right finish, you press that, it turns off the annotation. Same with this one, it does picture in picture with that camera up here, and then it turns off the actual annotation too. Switch is just a switch with picture in picture. So cam, same thing. Cast, same thing, and HDMI, same thing. All of it has picture in picture in there, so I can use that. And since all of these use the same lower thirds, I can just use the lower third on just one scene. I'll basically go into more detail about the software once I actually finish showing you that part. So So I'm gonna show you that now. So this is my NAS, which I have my dated on. I need to replace hard drive. That's right there. And here on this side right here specifically, because that one's going bad. This is the thing I have that goes to my thing in my room. This is a smart plug, so when this turns on, the receiver side of this turns on, and so there's that. This computer here runs my my hand cam for this phone. This is plugged into here, and I'm thinking about unplugging that, but that's that. And then this is for charging my certain devices, like my gimbal that I did a unboxing of. Here is my printer that I have for putting for printing stuff, and then this is the computer I have that does Wake on LAN. And that's going there. And so now let me get to show you what the specific things do. So before I start the other part, I'm just showing you how I reorganize. So basically, I have the printer stuff over here, the printer on this shelf, one of my UPSs over here for battery charging, and my little HDMI thing, my NAS, and the computer. And then over here is my switch, my other UPS that is for the switch and a modem on top. So and I have my game server down there. It has some breathing room, and also has enough air to circulate. So, and everything is feeded on this bookshelf. And I have my Echo there for control of stuff. So, on to the next part. Hi guys, so I'm at my computer. So basically, let me open up the Stream Deck application, and I'll show you what all the buttons do. So basically, these are my buttons right here. So this is for the Stream Deck Plus. I showed you before that was in the first part. So right here, I have sound, which is basically just volume control right here. Multimedia, which is elected to control audio, and then the actual the time machine. What the time machine one does is it's a hotkey. So let me open this one up. So if you look at this one is control shift command F16, which will do time machine backup. So when I press a button, it does time machine backup. Web list is just my web stuff. Command, same button but with F15. This one, the QR code, is just press or tap. And this is when I have a URL open in Safari, it copies that web page into a QR code, and I can place that places like print it off and stuff. Then there is right here the fan. It just turns on the fan. So with F18, and then going over here, which is a random one, this just brings up a random anime character each time it goes on the anime database. And so it does shift command F14. And then right, which is F16. And then this one, which is just a button on companion. So Then this one is just starts. It's just a it just opens VM and then close parallel. That's all it does. It just opens my VM. Sleep, it just sleeps. This is snooze, which basically just runs untitled. But that kind of is broken. So then there's wake, which does wake on LAN command from my um, from my shortcuts. Then this is just opens the folder. This one just runs the sound app, and this one is a shutdown slash app. And then this one is basically just turns off on and off all this stuff. And there's that. So I'll start off by showing you what the shutdown one does. So if we go to here, go to here, go to automator, and then we go to app, then we go to shut down the app. So if we go to shut down the app, it will, this is what it does. So you can make it depending on what you do, but this, the first part, it tells application system events to quit all apps, name every application processes visible, its visibility is true, and name is not finder. So it closes everything that isn't finder. And then it does kill all, do a kill all shell, do kill all doc, kill all finder, and then kill all system preferences. But when I just ran that one, it didn't close everything, so I put a 4-second pause. And then after that, it does an OSA script -e tell application finder to close everything, because when it kills finder, it relaunches finder if finder was actually open, and then it just closes finder. And then this is just for because these are apps that are hidden, so because it tells you on tab to quit, because of that's one that runs in the background, and so it quits it in the background. And then the next one, which is 4 seconds pause, and then it ejects data, which is my NAS drive, and it does echo my computer, and then password with sudo and shutdown. And then there's that one. So that's what shutdown does. So if we open Automator again, we go open, and then we open sound. So go here. So sound, this one is just a different app. So this one opens the sound on .command, which in order to make command file, you just use a editor. I use BELLOW, and so you put in the command you want to run from a terminal, and this works with any command, including stuff that basically, in order for it to work in Automator, you have to like give it the full extra path. So what I recommend doing is the command you would run in terminal, put that into a .command file. Some of them will work, some of them won't. And then you put in a .command file. Then after that, you save it. And after that, you can't use text edit in macOS because it just doesn't work. You have to use something like BBEdit or another script editing software. After you save it as .command, then you open up terminal and type in chmod space u plus x space the path of the file. I would save the command file in a place where you want to run right now, because for some reason every time I move it, it just breaks the actual command file. So I just save it in a folder called apps, and I put all my apps in there. And then after that, you go into Automator, because if you just double click the command file, it will open, but it'll leave a terminal window open, and you have to close that every time you run the file. So if it's a file you click a lot, there'll be a lot of terminal windows open. So then I basically made an application in terminal called it gets specific finder items, which it would be sound on command, and then after that it will open finder item terminal app, and then it will pause for 33 seconds. Then it'll quit finder. So what this does, because if you just try to open the command, you actually can't, because launch the command file, it just won't launch. And if you just get specific item, it'll get specific item, won't do anything. But you have to basically get specific finder item, and then open finder item with the set app, and then you have it wait 3 seconds, and then it will quit terminal after that. So if the command's long, then increase the pause time until it finishes, or it'll basically try to quit the actual terminal when the command is still running. So I did this for display, and I did this for display, and I did this for display and everything else that I have that does a turn on device. So if you go to existing, so if we go back to Stream Deck software, the next one is this one, the Wake. The Wake one, it does Wake app. So with this one, if we go to open and go to server Wake app, this one just does a shell script, and it runs the Wake on LAN using the MAC address, and also the IP address of the device, plus the I forgot what it's called, but it's the subnet. There you go. It's the subnet, and it says do shell, and it does that, and it's running an Apple script, and that runs. And this one, which is snooze, is untitled, but it's actually something else. So this one is, if you open it, it does shut down. This one runs a shut down to SSH. So normally my SSH would actually work, but for some reason SSH on my server is kind of broken at the moment. So there's that. Because this is SSH, it basically, you basically put the password in. I have it send this shutdown command, and it would shut down the computer. That's not working. So that's broken. After that, let me get to here. So next thing to show you is of my actual this one, which is Time Machine. So the Time Machine one is on here on shortcuts. So what Time Machine does is oh, that's what fan does. So as you can see, oh, okay, so as you can see, it turns on and off smart plug, but smart plug isn't on right now. The smart plug isn't plugged up right now. So this one is this one, so it runs Time Machine. So if we go to Automator, it runs the Time Machine does this. So I have here, it runs a Time Machine. So Shortcuts runs a Time Machine app that was made by Automator, which do shell script tmule start backup, which starts the Time Machine backup. So when I press the button on the Stream Deck, it sends a keyboard shortcut. That keyboard shortcut then tells shortcuts to run the Automator app, and the Automator app is then runs and it does a backup. And then there is the Qlon tablet one, which is opens Qlon and then pauses, then Kaizap, and then hi, and then it hides the app. And so next one, which is the rando or randomizer. So it does randomizer, does my waifu list dot random, and then the web list is places I usually visit, and then saving this one runs a QR code generator, and it shows the notification with name of there, and also rename the file to name a website. That's all that one does. And so that's what all of my Automator, that's what all of these ones do. And then going into here, I'm not gonna go over I'm not going to go over companion because of that will make it even longer. But so going over here, so this is my companion stuff. So this is my OBS stuff. So when I click on this one, which is program start, so this will start recording. So it will do key light on, it will do a 2 second millisecond delay, which is 2 seconds. Then it'll do cam 1, which is my ATEM 1 input 1, and then it'll basically do start. This happens before it starts recording. Then it goes to start intro, and then it'll wait 4 seconds. Then it'll go to the hold scene. Then it'll wait 4 seconds. Then it'll go to ATEM. And since it's on cam 1, it'll show cam 1 as the actual ATEM on ATEM. And then after that, it'll wait 2 seconds. It'll play the lowers, which is 45 seconds, which is 42 seconds, and then there's a then there is a delay for 42 seconds just to make sure this plays actually through without anything happens. And it shows the display, the progress on the Stream Deck if I put that there, and not just have it just play. So in the number 2, which is the pause, which is the stopping. So after I do whatever I need to do in the recording, so if I switch scenes and stuff like that, showing different things, or going to play a game and stuff like that. It basically, and I basically finish. It goes to hold for a second, ATEM. So, and that means, and normally, if you look up here, it goes to one, camera one, then it'll hold 4 seconds, ATEM, 2 seconds, lower, which is the lower thirds, and then after that, it'll do 442,000 milliseconds, which is 42 seconds. Then it'll do end, which is the ending scene, and then it'll wait for 4 seconds. Then it'll stop. Then it'll go do 2 seconds wait. Then it'll go to the wait scene. Then it'll do 2 seconds, and then it'll go back to cam 3, which is my max screen, and then it'll wait 2 seconds, and then it'll do key off. So all of this stuff happens after the recording's done and it's rendering out. And this is just for program. So multi-view is pretty much the same exact thing as program, but instead there's just one thing added. So with this one, it activates multi-view, which is when I'll show you it. It should be able to pick it up. No, I don't think it will. So basically, multi-view, it basically gives you a multi-view of the windows, and it shows all the stuff the ATEM normally does in multi-view. And then after it finishes that, it then does everything like as before, but then it switches it back to program. So program would be just a single screen. And then I have the start soon scene, which just turns on a wait scene. And then for my hand camera, so I'll just start on the actual hand camera first. The hand camera one basically does this. It uses Home Assistant, turns off the Google TV, which is the Google Chromecast or Google TV, which I have over here on my desk, connected to the ATEM port 4. And then I have Droid Cam on. So what this one does, it activates the scene of the ATEM, and it activates the actual scene on the OBS running on my mini computer that's in the background. And then it does off air, and then it does a 6 millisecond wait. That's just because it's this one specifically. And then it goes to hold. It goes to main one, which is an application that basically sends a command to Home Assistant that basically sends a command to my IR blaster, which sends a command to switch to HDMI 1, and that's basically, this is just using this until my ATEM mini stream gets fixed. And so then it goes to Cam 4, which is the port that it's on. Not on right now, but the port it would go to. And then it does a 4 millisecond delay, and then it goes to ATEM. So the only parts that's actually seen by you guys are here and here. So the 4 millisecond wait is basically allows this and this to activate, but then this would play until it switches to ATEM. So you don't see any of this part right here, but it would cut without any issues. And so what this one does, this turns off the air, and this one turns on Droid Cam, which is my Droid Cam OBS, and this turns off the Google. So let me explain what the off air does. So going to something that has on air, so for example, unbox cam, picture in picture. So when I click this one, it does Google TV off, Droid Cam off. So and it does on air. So if you go here, this one says off air, but what on air does, it basically puts up the upstream keyer, and then when it does that, it then puts camera 2 into, camera 1 into picture in picture. So basically, when I have this one activated, it puts the camera that I showed you that's on top of my monitor into picture in picture. So when I have the camera set up, so 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 when I'm talking into the microphone, it gets I'm seeing in front of me, and I'm also seeing downwards when doing an unboxing and or showing stuff down view. But then it does face, which is this activates face, which is the actual this is camera 1 in picture, and then there's a 2 millisecond delay and 4 millisecond delay, 4,000 millisecond delay, or 4 seconds. So in total, it's 6 seconds. And then the Mac PMP is the same thing, but it switches to Cam 3, which my Mac is on, and then it turns off everything except for on air and face. And then there is a right, which is, this one's a little bit different. It turns off everything except for on air and face, and it also turns on this one, which press F16, which gives you annotation, and then it does 2 seconds plus 6 seconds, and it changes to input 3, which is the Mac. And then the switch, which is the same as like setup, but it switches to main 2, which is the input 2 on the HDMI switch I have, and it goes to camera 4, which is ATEM Cam 4, and it goes to ATEM. And all of them have ATEM. And then the cast, which is this one, is the only one where the Google TV turns on and everything else turns off except for on air and face. And it switches to input 4 and main 4 and cam 4, so input 4 on the ATEM. And then this one, which is HMI, it turns off everything except for on air, and it switches to main 3 and cam 4. And the last one, which is basically switches to main 5 and cam 4. And it's my DVD player. It turns everything off. This is the same as that one. 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 But the only difference between the ones that have PMP in them are that the ones that have PMP just have the face cam on there in picture. And then there is face cam, which is just input 1, and this one has Google TV off, Droid off, off air, and no face. And it also has the O2 second wait, and it switches to camera 1, which is input 1 on my capture card. And so, other than that, that's pretty much all that is. And then the last one, which is my lower thirds. So my lower thirds is my lower thirds, which has IR in actually, which has IR codes, yes. I mean QR codes, and they would basically just play there. You can scan them when like the video pauses. So, uh, that's pretty much it. And plus, then normally what I do after I'm finished doing everything, I basically delete. I'm gonna delete this. But normally I would just run the. I'm actually gonna. That's a good idea. Honestly, yeah. So I'm gonna put this. So I'm just doing this on the fly. So I'm just gonna do that. So that's the only modifying I'm doing now. So and these, if you're wondering what they are, they're just blanks. And so, and then normally, just make sure everything saves because sometimes Elgato basically decide, a software decides to like break something that. Sometimes the software decides to break something where the software decides to break where if you if you don't save some extra times, it sometimes breaks the actual software and it just deletes everything. So 1 second. So yeah, so I actually had to get that. So as in normally what I do is I delete something after making a copy of it, like going to the gear icon, profiles, here, click on create a backup, and save it to somewhere where you have access to. And so after I do that, delete something that's not important. So if it didn't save, I don't basically have to reissue do anything important, and I can just save copy one of these over. So I just usually delete something like the sleep button, or I delete one of these blank buttons. Save it, and after I make save, I actually then restore, just to make sure everything restores, and it restores, and I'm done with that. And now I just delete this off of my computer. I actually save it onto my NAS, but that's it. That's how I have it set up, and what all my settings are. You can probably do some of this, but basically the plugins I have on here are audio mute, but that's not being used right now. I'll just show you right now. So soundboard, stream decks, the ones that I have that are normally used are ones that are unlowered or unminimized. So this is for keyword Maestro. Uh, um, then there is companion, home assistant. But with home assistant, you gotta give it a long access token. With this one, you gotta make sure you have the IP address. With this, you gotta install a plugin. But if you don't, if you basically are just trying to use this with Mac OS in general and not have to use keyboard maestro, I recommend using like shortcuts or automator. Shortcuts actually has more integration technically, while automator, you can make physical like nice apps and stuff like that. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.